Hello, Aries. Welcome to the Sunflower Path. My name is Jess, and thank you for watching this new channel. I wanted to talk about Mercury retrograde since we are currently in the pre-retrograde, so like the 2 weeks before retrograde actually begins, because that would be November 9th to November 29th. It begins in Sagittarius, but then November 18th, it changes back into Scorpio and it ends in Scorpio. Now, why this is important is because Mercury retrograde is all about exes or old friends maybe returning or visiting our social media to get our attention. Um, there may be a lot of false starts, shakeups in our foundations. Mercury retrograde throws us off our guard, if you could say, or out of our routines, and forces us to reassess our decision making. And this is not a really great time for signing contracts. And because it's first starting in your ninth house, so you're going to be reassessing your beliefs. Your education might be more difficult. It might be more difficult to concentrate in classes if you've gone back to school or if you're a student. Um, it might be more challenging if you're currently questioning your religious upbringing, or if you are stepping into more leadership positions, since ninth house is all about your higher self. So it'll start there, but once Mercury retrograde goes into Scorpio, it'll be in your eighth house. And that's more about your finances. If you've got any shared joint accounts, it's also more about your traumas and psychological um, insecurities, or things that you have not worked your way through yet. So I'm going to look into what you need to revisit during this Mercury retrograde. What do you need to release? What are some unknown factors that you need to be aware of? What precautions you can take? What needs a rest? And what will keep you in balance? I may bring some oracle cards out just as extra messages for you. And yeah, let's get started. Okay, that one come out. We'll start with 3 cards and then move on to the rest of the message. Okay. I used to watch tarot readers and wonder why they keep touching the cards. I think it's one, a comfort thing, but also we're paranoid, or at least I'm paranoid, that they may not be completely visible. But all right, so this starts with, what do you need to revisit? So It's asking you to revisit with the Nine of Swords here some of your deepest insecurities. What has caused you to stay up at night? What has where have you not confronted like your inner demons? And what have you not healed yet? So Mercury retrograde, especially once it goes through your eighth house, is going to bring up a lot of anxiety and fears and mental anguish that you may not have confronted just yet. Um, but remember that with swords, a lot of the time this is mostly in our minds. So you're going to have to be reassessing and questioning, why do these types of fears and anxieties or obsessive thoughts or maybe intrusive thoughts come through? And what do you need to release is the Page of Cups reversed. And that's usually an over reliance on emotions, that maybe you are impulsive. Maybe you rely too much on emotions and not enough, kind of like a head versus heart mentality here. Um, like perhaps you don't know how to emotionally regulate yourself yet, or, or like you don't know how to properly express your feelings just yet. So that needs to be released. Maybe you have some unrealistic fantasies, or um, you may have a habit of going into overdrive with maybe, I don't want to just say anger, because I know anger can be associated with Aries, but I feel like this is emotions in general. It could be romantic emotions as well, since this is a Page of Cups. It could be perhaps you're dealing with a water sign that's driving you up the wall here. Um, it could be unblocked, or blocked rather, creativity, and you're thinking too much about perfection, like it has to be perfect in order for it to be acceptable. Um, it may be asking you to ground yourself instead. So release, have that emotional release, maybe scream into a pillow. There's some of those rooms where you can break things. What do you call those rooms that you can go into and just smash everything? I think that might be helpful during this time period. Um, but what unknown factors are coming in for you that you need to be aware of is the Eight of Wands reversed. And that could be communication gone. What's the English word? A weary? Oh, it's AWRY. I'm never pronouncing things correctly. Um, it's been a bit. It's been a decade since I've lived in an English speaking country, so I have to like think very quickly in terms of translations. Um, which is why I say so often. It's so annoying. But it could be poor timing. It could be miscommunications, misunderstandings. Um, it could manifest as like feeling overwhelmed because there's so many things going on at the same time. So I want to take a really good look at the dandelions here. Like this could be a lot that's in motion, like you're juggling a lot of things at once. But all of a sudden during Mercury retrograde, they might freeze or go slower. So you may need to be patient as you reevaluate your emotions and plans, and just slowing down in general to make sure that you completely understand what's necessary and what's not necessary. There could be a lot of chaotic energy that you're going to have to handle. Just try not to be too hasty. Don't panic, because panic, fear, those things lead to mistakes. But also be aware that you may burn yourself out if you don't slow down. All right, so what are some precautions that she can take other than the few things that I've already listed? Okay, so some of the precautions that you can take is Page of Pentacles here. So that's a card that usually means to really study your environment. Be aware of becoming someone who's more grounded. I don't know, that's something you need to be aware of, but that is something you should work on, perhaps as a precaution. You become someone who's a bit more focused on grounded work. Um, let's see. Be diligent, take practical step by step like procedures or actions sorry, towards your goals, or towards people. uh, Commit to the things that you're working on, whether they be work or projects or people that you're interacting with. But be also open to new ideas to avoid any difficulties. However, with it being Mercury retrograde, don't sign anything. If there's a new idea coming through, really assess this idea, but avoid procrastinating and just stay focused are some of the precautions that you can take. What needs to rest is the Nine of Wands here. So it looks like you've been persevering and being determined for a very long time, and it looks like the image that comes to mind is dropping your armor and just resting, because this is a soldier that's on guard. So maybe dropping your guards a little bit and being vulnerable, being open to the people around you. And since Mercury retrograde is happening during the holidays, especially if you're in the United States, this is during Thanksgiving, since it's from November 9th to November 29th. Um, Around that holiday period, you may be exhausted. So just taking a break, rather than per se giving up, could be something that you may need to look into and just rest. Um, the Three of Pentacles reversed here for what will help you keep in balance. Usually this means teamwork, but with it reversed here, I'm wondering if it means to be a little bit more towards yourself right now. Like maybe a dress where people are not meeting their own or your expectations, or perhaps if this is like a work environment and someone's not fulfilling their responsibilities and you're picking up the slack, like identify those. That also can be applied to relationships. Like maybe you've been pouring yourself into a relationship that hasn't really been giving back. So identify and address where your partner or your work colleagues are not being or acting as if they are your equal. I would say also to just work on the quality of work, because I know we tend to think more means like the better, but less is more in this case. And be realistic about what you're able to do right now instead of trying to do too much at once. Because again, it's going to get chaotic. So, really prioritize what is important to actually get that done and over with, rather than trying to juggle so many things at once, because otherwise you're going to burn yourself out. All right, so I'm going to pull any messages here for you. Especially since it's going to end, Mercury retrograde will end in your 8th house when it switches to Scorpio. So that's shared joint accounts, any fears and anxieties. Like you may want to just rest. If you're seeing a therapist, that would be great too, in order to work through any of those mental health issues that may pop up. But the dark, take a moment to sit under the star-speckled sky, listening to crickets and breathing in the cool night air. Yeah, definitely take the time to rest, sit in the dark if you're overstimulated by like lights and sounds. Although it does mention listening to like the crickets, maybe that's comforting to you. Like nature sounds may be comforting to you. So making sure you take a breather, and step outside a little bit to give yourself time to readjust if need be. And I kind of want to pull one of these. See what you may need. Ooh. Dreams. Royal fern and large grass yellow. Those are the words underneath here. I don't know if yellow is like your favorite flower, or sorry, favorite flower, favorite color. But dreams make sense because it kind of ties in here, because it usually creates insomnia and nightmares, and paying attention to what dreams you have as things that happen in your dreams or representations of your subconscious that you have not dealt with. So dreams. This card urges you to think about what your dreams are and how you can move forward in fulfilling them. Even your smallest steps should be taking you toward your dreams. This may feel outrageous, but only you hold the keys to making your goals a reality. No one else can dictate your hopes and aspirations, nor determine their validity. Validity? Your dreams are yours alone. Dreams are not, they do not come true all at once. You bring them to life with your actions every day. Small movements done regularly eventually create great advancement, and you'll be facing your dreams full on before you realize it. There's no such thing as an overnight success, but you will never get anywhere if you don't take regular steps. So, what actions will I take to further my dreams today? So, yeah, pay attention to what your dreams are. If they come with fears or anxieties, like you wake up and you just feel anxious with the rest of the day, or if you're working towards a more like equal partnership, equal or a balanced work environment, so you're not doing everything. And if you're studying, what are you studying towards? Is it something that you really want as a goal or as your dream or aspirations? Because this can be a representation of someone going back to school, um, and taking those practical steps towards it. And that's all I have for you, Aries. Good luck, and I'll see you next time.